little teaser at the top of the show,
Yeah.
I think.
Got us going.
I flipper fingered it.
Yeah.
You know what? It happens to the best of us. I'm Morgan Francis, joined by anchor Derek Dellinger. We have producer director Austin McCullum and meteorologist Andrew Brightman joining us today on Queen City News Plus Live. It is Friday. We are almost exactly 1 day away from the Panthers game here in Charlotte.
25 hours?
We will, 25 hours.
25 and a half hours.
25 and a half
Who's
hours.
counting,
Yes.
right? We'll get to that much later in the show, but right at the top, Derek, we have some breaking news out of Minnesota. New
Yes.
video that kind of gives us a different angle of the shooting that happened where an ICE agent shot and killed a 37-year-old woman there.
And it's actually from the angle of the ICE agent. This video has been released just in the past couple of hours. It actually shows his perspective. And we should mention this is not body cam video or anything like that. This is actually cell phone video.
We should
Yes.
mention
Yeah.
too, for our news organization, we are trying to get that video and get access
clearance.
to
Yes.
it, but we'll do our best to describe that angle.
Yes, and it shows the interaction between that officer and Renee Good, who's the woman that wound up being shot and killed, at least in this instance earlier this week. And this it shows some interaction. Her basically saying, "Hey, I'm not mad at you." And then as it goes off, there are some expletives said, reportedly from the officer himself before he shoots. And there is some already some reaction to this. I saw I think it was a tweet from Donald Trump Jr. basically saying that this kind of validates what is being said from the administration standpoint. Of
Right,
this
so
right now.
let's break down the video a little bit more. There's another woman who is on
Yes.
the other side of the car recording this interaction.
Apparently a passenger.
Kind of antagonizing
Yeah.
the agent, saying a number of things to the agent.
Yes.
The cell phone video is that of this new angle is what
Yeah.
we're seeing. He's the agent holding his cell phone. He doesn't have a body camera
Yeah.
that is on, I don't believe, in this situation. We don't see contact with the car, but we hear what sounds like the officer being hit by the vehicle as Renee Good speeds off. And of course, this is just being hyper-analyzed by everyone who has seen it. We've seen angles from farther away showing her SUV, the tires kind of going off to the right as the agent fires what is believed to be 2 shots, shooting and killing her.
Yes.
And this is the closest angle that we've seen of that encounter.
Yes, and we should mention too that you hear some. I think you might hear 1 or 2 shots go off, but you only hear them. As far as what is shown on the video, it appears that the phone is dropped at least to the ground, and you only hear basically the final second and a half of basically what was going on in that video. While that is happening, attorneys in Minnesota, they are basically saying, hey, we want anyone that might have any video or physical evidence to come to us directly, because they say that they want an investigation into this. And that the feds,
Well, the
their
FBI is not
allegation that the
sharing it.
feds are not are basically shutting them out.
Yeah, and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has said they just don't have jurisdiction. That's just the way it is. The FBI is leading this investigation. Minnesota authorities, they don't trust that investigation. They want to do their own due diligence. So they're asking people to send them any sort of documentation of this incident that they have. So you've got the feud happening there. Meanwhile, we're learning more about Renee Good. According to the New York Post, she was involved with a group known as ICE Watchers, and had gotten involved with that group through her son's charter school. That school's website says that they, engage children in political and social activism, and says that they are proud to offer social justice curriculum. So we're learning more about kind of her background, that she was involved in a group that went to wherever ICE was to document what they were doing. I believe someone on the video at one point said that they have, whistles to notify people if ICE is in the area. So we're learning a little bit more about kind of what led up to this shooting.
Yes, and we should mention also Vice President J.D. Vance has come under fire for some of his statements regarding what happened, saying that he did say and did claim that ICE agents have absolute immunity in the circumstance, even though the law says otherwise. And he also blamed Good for what happened, even though there are still questions about the specifics of it. He also scolded the media as well for kind of how they've been covering it. Now, we should also say, too, while this is happening, there was also this incident that happened last night in Portland, Oregon, that involved 2 people being shot by ICE. Allegations are that the 2 that were shot, a man and a woman, they did have connections with the Trinidad Aragua gang. which has been a subject of some of these ICE raids and ICE actions that have happened across the country. DHS says that both are criminal legal aliens, and there's no ordinary condition. And we should mention too that the mayor of Portland's basically saying, "Hey, let's let the investigation complete."
Similar situation too, that they use their vehicle to try to hit the agents.
Yes.
Going abroad, protests abroad. Iran has signaled that it's going to crack down on protesters. So there have been protests happening for roughly 2 weeks now, and it all was sparked. Began in Tehran by the collapse of the Iranian currency there. And there have been just backlash surrounding it, internet blackouts to try to kind of clamp down on the protests happening there. President Trump has come out and said to Iran that they do not kill peaceful protesters. So there's been a lot of unrest happening there.
Yes, and 62 people have died in these protests. We should mention these protests are deadly. Around 2,300 people have been detained. And just to give you a sense of the collapse of this currency, I did the current trading for what exactly is the Iranian rial is the form of currency. Though it was around like 500,000 rial for $1 US. These days, it's closer to 1 million rial per US dollar. So basically, the value of it has come down basically in half for what it already was, and it was still a very small amount. And that is what has led to the protests. Now, Iran's supreme leader says that they are cracking down on protests and directly challenging President Trump's support for these peaceful, some of these peaceful demonstrations, or the demonstrations at least that are peaceful in that country. And the direct quote from the supreme leader, Ayatollah Khomeini, basically says protesters are, quote, ruining their own streets in order to please the president of the United States. Internet, by the way, has been cut off in that country, too.
Yeah, I mean, and this is important because they're really a key player in politics and security across the Middle East. So this is a big deal, and it's hard to get information out, too, when there are those internet blackouts. So it's difficult to track the latest developments there. Going out to the Caribbean Sea, there has now been a fifth sanctioned tanker that has been intercepted by the U.S.
Yes, the U.S., we should add, has been targeting tankers all around, I think, the North Atlantic. This one was in the Caribbean. And they've been targeting tankers to and from Venezuela that they say have been acting kind of as a ghost fleet, transporting oil to other places, even though they shouldn't be, at least according to what the U.S. is saying. Now, the U.S. officials say the ship was, again, part of this ghost fleet. There's some credence to this because they apparently, at least according to some ship tracking databases online, this ship specifically, the one that they got, had turned off its location beacon.
Right, the Olena, I believe it's pronounced.
Yes.
It just kind of disappeared for a little bit there. Was last active 52 days ago near Venezuela. This footage that you're seeing here, I believe there was some footage a little bit ago, was posted by the Southern Command on social media. Basically what it shows is a helicopter landing right on the vessel, and then you can see U.S. personnel conducting a search on the deck. So again, getting kind of that insight into the operation itself. The ship has a listed cargo capacity of 890,000 barrels of oil. So at current market price, that'd be about $53 million.
Yes. Let's get to the jobs front here in the U.S. Jobs information came out today. This was actually the first clear look of labor markets in about 3 months because, you know, we had the government shutdown. It kind of limited what we were able to get in, and it also kind of affected what the labor markets were doing. The U.S. added around 50,000 jobs. However, and the unemployment is now at 4.4%, which is marked down. The thing about it is, though, is that they were forecasting this to be just a little bit bigger at 55,000, and that was not the case.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit slow in the labor market. I think that is going to allow the Fed to pause on rate cuts, which, you know, obviously that's what they base everything off of is how is the economy doing right now. So, you know, it's kind of lukewarm on that front. Yeah.
Yes. And here locally, got some news on Bank of America Stadium. We got a bit more of a timeline on what exactly is going to be happening as far as the renovations that are going to be happening there. Now, you need to know, in case you are relatively new here to Charlotte, that thing's only been around for about 30 years. Now, even though it's only been around for about 30 years.
What do you mean only been around?
Well, you might think, hey, that's not that old. But there's a bunch of stuff from the mid-'90s in there that kind of needs to be upgraded, and that's part of this. This renovation that's going to be happening. Timings, as far as the specifics here, we know that this renovation will be continuing at least for the next 4 years. with some possible closures of some parts of the stadium starting next year.
Right. It's $800 million in renovations. $650 million of that is going to come from hospitality and tourism taxes, and then Tepper is going to provide $150 million. I remember when Tepper first bought the team, he was talking about getting a new stadium and getting new quite frequently. If the fans want it, they're going to have to pay for it. So again, it's coming from the hospitality and tourism taxes. So when people come and visit and pay those taxes, it has to be used on certain items, and this is one of them.
And I kind of remember the back and forth because there was like even a talk about, hey, if this wasn't approved, would David Tepper actually keep the Panthers here in Charlotte? At least at one point, there was actually that conversation that was there too. Even though
2 states, 1 team.
When I was in Jacksonville, we went through the same thing with the Jaguars because they're doing a $4 billion upgrade, and that team is now going to play in Orlando for part of the year as they do those upgrades. So the Panthers are lucky.
Look at the Chiefs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was going to wonder what kind of stuff from the 90s are in there, Derek. Are we talking about like
aging mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and ventilation systems?
I was going to say maybe some Beanie Babies or something.
I would bet as far as the ventilation systems.
Yeah.
I would bet as far as the ventilation systems. You know, like those old thermostats that are kind of like they probably still have the old thermostats in there, and that's probably they don't have anything that kind of can be successfully automated by machine. We should also mention, too, that there is a 4,400-seat indoor music venue that will also be built on the first side of the property, but it will not utilize any public funding, at least coming from.
Well, obviously, you can tell the pictures. Yeah. There's going to be, new seating, accessibility throughout the stadium, some enhancements. It's not just going to be a bunch of electrical wires getting replaced.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you heard him just a little bit ago. Let's bring in meteorologist Andrew Brightman. Andrew, it's been just what is this, like a preview to tomorrow?
Foggy, a little wet.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the only difference is that tomorrow probably won't see as much fog. It's going to be much windier across the Carolinas. It's been very still today. That's also some of the reason we got all the moisture. We have such the low cloud deck here, only about 500 or so feet off the ground. But we're already seeing a little bit of wet weather moving in across portions of the foothills and mountains. But it's all about your Saturday. The Panthers forecast, we got wet weather, we got stormy weather, windy weather here across the Carolinas. It's going to be very, very unsettled. And then Sunday, drier and much, much cooler here shaping up across the region. So what do we got going on right now? Pinpoint radar here, seeing some of these showers as we get up into the foothills and mountains here around Lenoir, Boone, Jefferson. We've got some of that wet weather moving through currently here. This is all out ahead of a frontal boundary that is still currently off to our north and west. Well, off to our north and west. The frontal boundary right now right around probably Nashville, Tennessee. And there's all the rain and not quite a lot of thunderstorm activity just yet, but we are tracking the potential for some strong storms here across the Carolinas as we go throughout tomorrow afternoon into the early evening hours here across the region. Temperatures, even with the low cloud cover, still able to get up into the middle 60s here. And even down in Charlotte, it is 72 degrees right now. It has been incredibly warm, even with all the cloud cover. But if you get up into the foothills and mountains, you'll notice here kind of Charlotte's sort of the line in the sand where we have basically temperatures the exact same where they were this time yesterday. But as we get up into the foothills and mountains, it's about 5 to 10 degrees colder, starting to get some of the cooler temperatures because of the rainfall that has been moving on in. As for the rest of the day, we got a lot of cloud cover here across the Carolinas, kind of the dreary conditions, and seeing the chance for those showers as we head into the evening hours across the region. I'll be talking more about the wet weather we could see tonight, but of course, the rain, the wind, the thunderstorms, everything you need to know. If you're going to be heading over to the bank here for the Panthers game, you want to do some tailgating, I've got your full forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Andrew, if they tailgate hard enough, they're not going to notice the weather.
True.
You just gotta
we might test that theory
That's the
tomorrow
right
morning.
attitude.
Maybe an umbrella,
we'll
maybe a
test that
poncho.
theory.
It's like it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's what is this? It's just a little rain. Just a little rain. Well, it's going to be more than just a little rain.
Yeah, we will see.
More on that coming up. We will also be talking more about the Panthers coming up in just a couple of moments. This is Queen City News Plus Live. .316 on a Friday. This is Queen City News Plus Live. As we take a look at Bank of America Stadium, you see the fogginess. You see, well, if you've stepped outside at any point, you probably felt some of the wetness. Or at least it's been somewhat rainy out there, but it's only going to get worse. We've got Andrew Brightman coming up with that 7-day forecast. But the person that is in that seat right now is not Andrew Brightman. We actually do have Mike Lissette from Carolina Sports Live here talking about all good things Panthers.
If I had red hair, I'd be Andrew Brightman.
Hey, I'm halfway there. I'm halfway
Andrew's
there
in
at
the
this
corner
point.
like,
So
what?
Andrew does not have red hair, but for some reason there was this notion that he was a redhead, and it's not. I'm
Not
sorry,
true.
he's coming. He's
Not
coming.
true. All right, let's talk Panthers here, Mike. You have a limited amount of time. We are 1 day away and 1 hour, 1 day and 1 hour
Wow,
away
how
from the
about this?
game. What is happening right now for the Panthers? What are the next 24 hours like?
Well, I mean, at this point, I would imagine that this would be like the night before you took your SATs. Depending on, you seem like the type of person that's like me that probably studied their behind off.
Wait,
And
are you talking about me?
Yeah, for the SAT.
Sure, we can go with that.
And their dad or mom probably sat them down, and that you're probably scared out of your mind. Your dad or mom probably sat you down and said, "Son or daughter, you've done the work. At this point, you just have to have faith and trust in the work." So I imagine that's probably what Dave Canales told his guys. There's no point in cramming. I mean, I'm sure they'll.
You don't
go,
think they're watching tape?
I mean, I'm sure they're doing what they can, but I think
Right.
there is a point where you have to kind of back up and say, all right, the work has been done at this point. And I'm not saying go out and have a great night and be irresponsible, but I am saying, like, take a moment to yourself, appreciate the fact that they're there, and just kind of have faith that, it's time to let the chips fall as they may.
Take a rest. Basically, have your good luck charms ready and just be ready for whatever. might
Have a good night's sleep and go in with a positive attitude. Yeah.
How positive would you think that attitude is right now at Bank of America Stadium?
Listen, I mean, all week long we've heard a lot of excitement from the team, a lot of energy. Now, I think it's going to be a little bit different when the ball is kicked off, because I think that's the moment where you realize, holy moly, this is the playoff. And I think for a lot of those guys that have been in the NFL for a while, I think it'll probably feel very similar to that first welcome to the NFL moment, where it's just like, holy smokes, this is it. This is the big stage. And they're going to have to get over that tomorrow. They're going to have to get over the fact that they're in the playoffs, and they're going to have to get down to business and play football the way that they know they can play it. So,
well, and that's the thing, right? These guys have, I mean, a lot of them, this will be their first playoff game. So in my mind, I'm wondering how many guys are going to get sick before kickoff, because it happens.
Well, again, that goes back to my point. Like, I'm sure Dave is probably telling them just to, hey, just try to relax and try not to overthink it, because
they're fully ready.
If you overthink things and you start getting too nervous
forget
about
everything.
it, and too amped up, then you're right. You step on the field and you say, "Oh my gosh, I don't remember a single play."
Can we just give a hats off to the morning show? They asked a really interesting question this morning, and that's who is under the most pressure going into this game? We got Bryce Young, his first playoff game. We've got the head coach, Dave Canales. I mean, who is facing the most pressure here?
Well, to me, it's obvious. It's Bryce Young. I mean, this guy is in year 3 of his 4-year deal with the option kicking in for a 5th-year contract. This is the time when teams will start negotiating it to sort of get their ducks in a row. And I think the general consensus of everybody in the Carolinas and pretty much a lot of national pundits is that Bryce probably at this point has not earned himself a guarantee yet. I think he's had a lot of up and down games. He's had moments of brilliance, but I think he's left a lot on the table. But I think come tomorrow, he's going to have to play out. He cannot be the reason why Carolina loses this game. If the defense steps up and all the things are set in order for him to win this game and he can't do it, I think a lot of the blame for him to be on him.
I mean, it's a tough game to win, though. They're, 9.5, 10.5 point underdogs?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the odds are not in his favor. But what
gotta look
cannot
good.
happen is for Bryce Young to come out and throw for 53 yards and 2 interceptions. I mean, that would be a disastrous, awful way to end the season. And it would really put a pit in a lot of stomachs going into the offseason thinking about the future.
Yeah. My question comes with a little bit of context, and I'm going to actually put that context in here right now, because there's a lot of people that probably have not paid too much attention to the Panthers because of the way things have been over the past couple of seasons. They know kind of how things
I'll believe
have
it when
been.
I see it.
Yeah,
right.
basically, and it was very much that when Canales was hired. But he's proven himself pretty well this year. I mean, he's acquitted his hiring actually rather well compared with the way things have been over the past couple of seasons. I would best to say here that this has been a very good thing. Canales has been a very good thing.
I know. Again, you did mention, is it Canales or Young? And I don't think Canales is under. I mean, this is a step up for the organization.
Oh, yeah.
I think maybe they've even somewhat exceeded expectations. I think the thought was, hey, we want to go into the playoffs, but I'm not actually sure they thought it was a guarantee. The thing that was on their side was a very, very weak NFC South. And I think
Right. I mean, they were like all tied.
yeah, I mean, I think he realized then, just as we've known the last couple of years, that if you put yourself in contention, then things like this could happen. I mean, you may not be the greatest team in the NFL, but you get in there, and at this point, heck, you catch lightning in a bottle. Next thing you know, weird, wild things happen, and a magical run is created.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing with the playoffs, right? The record no longer matters. You're now one game for one game. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike, for breaking all that down for us.
No
Appreciate
problem,
it.
guys. Happy to be here.
And while,
Musical chairs?
Yes, let's play musical chairs while Lissa gets out and Andrew Bryman gets in. Another look at Bank of America Stadium, and we do need to emphasize the weather here over the next 24 to 48 hours or so. It's going to be a little bit wet out there, and more than just a little bit wet. In fact, there's chances of severe, at least some showers, thunderstorms. Possibly just a little bit more, and we do want to get Andrew Bryman here with that as far as what we
got
can
a little
expect.
stormy here in the in the blue room. We're about to have a Jim Rome, Jim Everett moment here. If he called me a redhead, I bet you won't call me a redhead one more time.
At this point, I'm more of a redhead with this than I am him. Okay, so yeah.
All right, boys, let's reel it in. Let's reel it in.
Full disclosure, I love Mike. He's one of the greatest guys here at Queen City News. I love working with him. Anyway, let's get back to your forecast. 64 degrees right now. Winds out the south-southwest about 5 to 10 miles an hour here. A lot of cloud cover, low cloud cover across the region. Up across the mountains, though, Boone, Jefferson, they're seeing some wet weather, some scattered showers as expected this afternoon. This is what's going to try to push into the Central Carolinas as we go into the evening hours here on your Friday. Pinpoint radar shows you all that weather as we get up into the foothills and mountains. We'll show you the last 30 or so minutes. Some of these showers starting to move in here across the Carolinas, become more and more widespread to the north and west of Charlotte here. And some of these places could pick up by the time it's all said and done a couple of inches of rain. This is all part of the frontal boundary. You can see all this moisture sort of streaming out of the subtropical jet. You can almost look like kind of streamers here out of Texas and then into the north and northeast mid-Atlantic states here. And that's all part of this cold front that's moving through. That's kind of going to bring a bit of a pattern change to the Carolinas as we go throughout the weekend into early next week. Now, when we talk about the storm potential tomorrow, we do have a chance of severe weather. Marginal risks, it's tier 1 out of 5. Got all this moisture. We've got a lot of tilting, what we call wind shear, wind direction and speed changing as you head up into the atmosphere. This is going to be a little bit of thunderstorm fuel here that we're going to be watching very, very closely. The forecast really has not changed. I mean, we still got temperatures around the 70-degree mark, very warm. Showers, thunderstorms, gusty winds. I still expect the winds here to play a factor in this game here. The stadium is oriented northwest to southeast. The winds are going to be southwest. It is going to be a very potential gusty and strong crosswind here through the bank. And it's going to be very interesting to see how both teams handle these conditions that we're going to be seeing. Future cast in motion this evening shows those scattered showers for the most part staying dry here. And I think we should be dry at least in Charlotte through about 9, 10 o'clock. That's going to make the CSL peeps very, very happy as they've got a live show outside that I'm excited for all you guys to see. And then we're going to see some scattered showers and storms moving through as we keep going forward. Overnight hours heading into your Saturday morning. We've got those showers and storms here across Hickory, Lincolnton, up into the foothills here. Now, as we keep moving forward, you'll notice Saturday morning, the wet weather starts to push back off to the south and east and towards the Charlotte metro area. Not really seeing those storms move in until we get into the afternoon hours. This is 2 o'clock. Notice the orange, the red here, showing those strong storms moving through. This is a major concern. Could see a potential lightning delay. Any type of lightning starts going to be a 30-minute clock that we're going to be watching very, very closely here. We get to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, still watching those scattered showers and storms. The timing here is so crucial. Still keeping the storm activity around through now 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We keep moving forward here. So really through the mid-afternoon, through the evening hours, we've got the potential here for storms on the way across the Carolinas. And then once we get to your Sunday, things start to look a lot better here across the region. Could even see some snow showers up across the mountains as we get later on your Sunday. And then heading into your Monday here, the weather begins to markedly improve here across the region. Real quick with the winds, just want to talk about the blustery conditions, why I think it's going to be a factor here with the game. Notice those wind gusts 20 to 30 miles an hour, and it gets even stronger as we head to the afternoon with those wind gusts up to about 35 miles an hour as we get to the game. Quickly heading to your pinpoint 7-day forecast, we have got a lot of wet weather moving through for your Saturday and then looking better as we head into early next week.
You know, you might mention that lightning delay. It's always like, gosh, if you get to 29 minutes and there's a lightning strike, then it resets the clock. Fingers crossed that's not going to happen.
Which could mean potentially a very long afternoon as well with what's going to be happening down at Bank of America Stadium. Be back right after this. This is Queen City News Plus Live.
Got a lot of action leading up to the
Yes, we
action
do.
tomorrow. So tonight, 7 p.m.
7 till 8. Yes.
Yep, we're going to have our Black and Blue Kickoff Live team on the rooftop of Fahrenheit, so don't forget to watch that show. And then tomorrow at 2, BBKL, again, previewing the game.
2 until 4 here on Queen City News
Yep.
Plus, or at least we're going to try to make it until 4 o'clock. But don't forget, you can watch the game on Queen City News on TV at 4:30 on Saturday.
Come on, Panthers, let's
Yeah.
go. Thanks for
See
watching,
you Monday.
everyone.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.